In this video, we will learn how to write the GPF application essays. Here's an outline of what we'll look at today. First, we'll talk about what the GPF is. Next, we'll look at the selection procedure. Then we'll go into an in-depth explanation of each essay section, as well as some samples. Following that, we'll show you an essay checklist with some tips that you can use. First, what is the GPF, or Global PhD Fellowship? The GPF is a National Core Human Resource Development Fellowship provided by the National Research Foundation of Korea. It provides intensive financial support to graduate and doctoral students in the sciences. In 2018, there will be 160 recipients of this prestigious award. The amount of the award for this year is 10 million Korean won, followed by 20 million Korean won per year of enrollment in the graduate PhD program. Since 2013, Essay Review has completed over 2,000 GPF essays, making us an expert in this area. So let's talk about the selection procedure. The first step in the application process is the pre-review, in which GPF committee reviews your documents and verifies your eligibility. Following that, you will write a written evaluation, which is the essay portion. This includes an applicant introduction, an academic plan, a research proposal, and reasons for choosing the university. If you pass the written evaluation portion of the application, you'll move on to the applicant interview, which we will discuss in a later video. Let's look at how to approach these essays. First, you want to include all of the necessary details in each section. This means whatever the prompt is asking for, you need to include this and only this in the section. Be personal and make your essay stand out. Because there are so few recipients this year, there is a high competition, and that means you need to show yourself. Part 1 of the GPF essay is the applicant introduction. This section includes personal background, purpose of doctoral course, reasons for applying to the GPF. As we mentioned before, the main purpose of this section is to show who you are. Because there are so many applicants, you want to stand out as an individual here. In the first part of this section, you want to talk about your personal background and interest. Answer the question, what are the skills, expertise, and knowledge that you have gained from school classes and from research? What exactly drew you to this area of study? Here's an example. 2 moments in my life influenced my decision to major in medicinal chemistry, an R&E program in high school, and laboratory courses in university. As you can see, this response is quite specific, and it gives details about the program and the actual courses. You can limit this to 2 to 3 paragraphs. In the second half of this section, you want to discuss the purpose of your doctoral course. Give background about the wider context of your study to show how your PhD study will contribute to the field and to society. Answer truthfully and give specific reasons and goals. This applicant talks about the background of the study area, educational policy in Korea, and the reasons why this study is being conducted. They also talk about the wider implications and what is missing from the current research area. The third part of section 1 asks you to give a reason for applying to the GPF. Explain why you sought this award and why your study deserves it more than others. Give specific reasons, 2 or 3 reasons, and remember that the judges have the best interests of Korean development in mind. So with that in mind, let's look at an example. As you can see here, this applicant makes it personal about what they want, why they deserve the award. In part 2, you should list your academic plan. In this section, you must demonstrate your knowledge about past and current research, show that you are focused and prepared to expand on your studies, be thorough and specific about your goals. In the first section, you should give a reason for choosing the related department, major, and your research advisor. One good way to approach this is to break these items up into 3 different sections, perhaps by headings or by paragraphs. You should use the more compelling language at the beginning. For example, you do not want to write like this: I have always wanted to study animals, and that is why I am now pursuing a major in zoology at XYZ University. This simply is too broad and not so compelling to the judges. Now look at this example. Professor Franken was the most inspiring mentor that I have ever known. Sitting in his Physiology 201 class as a junior undergrad, listening to him discuss the circulatory system of cats, I developed a fascination with animal development, that set me on my current course. This is much more exciting and compelling right from the start. Let's look at some more examples. Your reason for choosing the department or major. We don't need to read this entire section, but as you can see, this student has given quite a bit of details. They've talked about the study right away. The buzzword for new change is technology, and I examined this through education. So they've immediately started to talk about what their study is about and through which lens or means they want to accomplish this study. They mentioned Socrates, educational theory, and basically they tie together their initial interests in this philosophy with their current study. The second part of this section should include the differences between past and current research objectives. You can answer the question, how have your short-term or long-term goals changed over time? How have the goals you set during your undergraduate years developed and evolved as you've remained in school? You can explain these changes in chronological order. First, talk about what your original plan was. Following that, you can discuss your new plan. You can discuss this in greater detail than the original. And you'll give some reasons why it changed and exactly how it changed and how the two are connected. So let's look at some examples of this. This person talks about the differences between past academic objectives and current objectives. So they start out with the past. The goal of my former study was to discuss the problems, etc., etc. My new research goal is to focus on the future of education in terms of new technology. And in the third part, they can discuss how the old and new objectives are connected. Part 3, or Essay 3 of the GPF essays, is your research proposal, and the page limit is 5 pages. This is clearly the longest and most heavily weighted section of the GPF essays. Include a research title, prior research and achievements, a summary of current progress of your field of research, unresolved issues motivating your research, the contribution and purpose of your research to the field of study or to society, your detailed research plan. This can include methods and materials if you know these already, and costs and schedule. And the more details you provide here, the greater your chances are that the judges will see your project as feasible. You can include analytic techniques, any expected effects and implications of the study, and even the wider social or political impacts of your study. Here are some resources you can use to look at when designing your proposal. We've included some sample PhD research proposal and some templates that you can use. But you want to make sure to include all of the necessary information we listed in the previous 2 screens. Part 4 asks you to give your reason or reasons for choosing the university you will be attending. This is the final section of the essay. You really want to remind the reader of your academic and research goals that you talked about earlier. Describe how your school can help you achieve your goals through curriculum, mission, and vision. Explain how this particular university can help you grow as a researcher, as a scientist, as an academic, etc. And you can include 2 to 3 classes, 2 to 3 specialties offered by the departments in this university. As well, you can mention any special faculty, any professors that you would love to work with. As we mentioned earlier, the GPF essay resembles the statement of purpose for most graduate schools. So we've compiled some videos and an article from our resources page that you can use to help shape your university section of the GPF essay. So let's look at the GPF essay writing checklist. First, you want to be consistent. It is very important that all documents in the application have a consistent theme and tone throughout. Write truthfully. Judges want to know about the applicants individually, and they're looking for authenticity. Show, don't tell. This means that you should not ever simply list facts. Instead, you should back up these facts and details by telling a story. You can use actions or even quantitative information like data to back up these stories. Always use appropriate language and tone. Remember that these are academic essays, so you should always use academic language. Avoid using abbreviations, jargon, slang, or any other non-academic or confusing terms. Last, get feedback on your essay. Feedback from others is important to writing good applications. A good editing company can also help you out with that. Luckily, there is a professional editing service that is capable of editing the GPF. As mentioned earlier, Essay Review has handled over 2,000 GPF essays in the previous year. We also have a host of research writing and publication information, and we do academic editing services for all kinds of documents. So visit us atessayreview.co.kr. Best of luck on your GPF application essays.